much for watching Ducky and Patsy on YouTube. I'm Patsy in Decline.
I'm Ducky.sheaboi.
And tonight we're joined by our favorite queen, the OG herself.
Yeah, OG myself.
Aya-chan, a.k.a. DDNYC! Yay! What are we doing today, Aya?
Oh my god! We're gonna do serial killer.
Woo!
Serial killer.
Y'all are crazy.
Me and Aya love talking about American serial killers because we are so interested in them. We're going to be talking about 5 American serial killers, starting with Ed Gein. Edward Gein. Edward Gein is a serial killer who was active in America in Wisconsin from 1954 to 1957. He killed 2 people, 2 women, but he was even more bizarre. He dug up 9 bodies and mutilated those bodies. He would make furniture items out of the body parts.
Yeah.
He made a chair out of dead bodies. He made a belt made out of nipples.
Oh my god.
Out of nipples?
Yeah,
Nipples. He made a lampshade out of skin.
This is like,
What? But then after he was like bored of digging up the bodies, that's when he started murdering women in his town. He killed one at her place of business.
Oh, that's not fair.
Shot her, drug her out, and took her home and gutted her and made furniture out of her. And then he did the same thing a few years later and then got caught like within a few days of doing it because everyone was like, Ed Gein is a weird guy. The movies that he inspired by doing these crimes were Silence of the Lambs,
Which is a fabulous movie.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right.
Remember like all the homemade shit that
right.
Leatherface makes?
Yeah.
And then Psycho by the fabulous Alfred Hitchcock. Are you ready to talk about number 4? Number 4 is our only female serial killer, Eileen Wuornos, who murdered 7 men.
Oh, why does that sound so familiar?
We just watched Monster.
Oh!
Yeah, this is about her. Eileen Wuornos was a sex worker in Florida. After one John attempted to murder her, she shot and killed him and then continued that kind of path of every time she got picked up, she would shoot and kill them, steal their money, steal their car, to support her and her lesbian girlfriend for a while.
Well, but that was and it might be the movie kind of influencing my opinion here, but that was definitely someone who life took advantage of this person, and she was trying to take back control. So it was different than like these other. I feel like it's a little different than the other people we're talking about, because this person was like trying to claim space for themselves, and like while they weren't doing it in a not necessarily nice way, it still made more sense than like digging up a dead body.
Yeah,
or a nipple belt.
She was abused and assaulted her whole life.
Yeah.
So like just that last instance, she snapped, and then from there, like you were saying, I took control. That's really the story of Eileen. Yeah, so unfortunately,
as a woman, I can see her struggle.
Yeah. She was a sex worker from the age of 11.
Yeah, right.
Like imagine the shit that she experienced. I mean,
just to get by.
Really.
All right. Well, number 3, Ted Bundy.
Oh gosh, I know this name. I don't know all the names now, but I know this name.
Every single person should know Ted Bundy and the horrors he ensued on this country. 7 states, 30 dead women and young girls.
That's what he admitted, like 30 victims.
Yeah.
Might be
More.
No,
30.
totally more.
Than that. Yeah.
He was active through 1974 to 78, so in 4 years, he killed 30 women and girls. Ted Bundy, on one of these nights, he escaped jail twice by like slipping out a window or or changing an outfit or something like that.
I mean, like while he was having a trial.
Oh yeah.
They were like on the break, and he told the judge that he want to make a phone call, right? Told judge he want to call his girlfriend Liz, but it was fake call. He was talking on the phone by the window side,
and got out the window.
He jumped out the motherfucking window.
Third story.
Oh
Gosh.
But
oh my gosh.
The night at the sorority house, in one night, he broke in, bludgeoned 4 women in a row, just sleeping in their beds, killing 2 of them.
Right?
Yeah, I think he killed 2 or 3 of
A
them.
lot of things happen in Florida.
Yeah, Florida, get your shit together. But I mean, movies he inspired was Silence of the Lambs, because remember when Buffalo Bill is like, I need help getting furniture into. That was Ted Bundy's MO.
Yeah, right.
Number 2, John Wayne Gacy, one of the biggest, hugest pieces of shit to ever come onto this planet.
Well, I know this person only because I'm gay, but take it away from there.
He is a gay serial killer, unfortunately. John Wayne Gacy murdered 33 young men and boys, most of which he would contract through his business. He would lure them to his rompus room, which is like a...
What's that mean?
It's like a men's den.
It doesn't mean sex den. It just means like a...
No, it's like a man cave.
Man cave, okay.
Man.
All right.
He was active from 1972 to 1975, so just in 3 years, he killed 33 people. That's insane. That's more than 1 person a month.
So most of his victims are like underage boys.
Yeah.
Age between 15 to 17.
Yeah. That's just not fair.
Some of his youngest ones are 13 and 14.
Oh my god.
So he would trick them into being like, oh, I have this like magic handcuff thing. That
trick.
Yeah, so he would put real handcuffs on them and then
snatch them,
but handcuff them to a piece of wood, murder them, and buried all of them under his house. All of them.
Basement.
Yeah, the house stank so bad. He was married. He had 2 children. How did this go on?
He married twice.
Publicly to women.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, and just that kind of makes me feel like, you know, like if you suppress who you are and you don't find a healthy outlet to express yourself, like you might turn into that in some kind of way, right?
It's very possible. There is this theory of like most serial killers from the 70s had experienced major head trauma in the early stages of their life and abuse. So like him, Ted Bundy. So there's a million ways of how to become a serial killer, but John Wayne Gacy is one of the biggest pieces of shit. He would dress up like a clown, Pogo the clown.
But John Gacy, he was abused.
He was sexually assaulted as a child too. So, I mean, it's just like, what's nature versus nurture? And that's more like Eileen Wuornos. It's more like nurture for her, because she wasn't born crazy. She was made crazy by the men in her life.
Yeah.
And the craziest mother of them all, number 1, Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh my god. Cannibal. From Milwaukee, active from 1978 to 1991.
Whoa.
That is a long ass time.
That's a career.
That's a career killer. That's exactly what they call it. He killed 17 men and boys.
Also gay.
Gay killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an openly gay man living in Milwaukee, going to bars, having sex with men. Like he would go to saunas, and he was attractive too. Like Ted Bundy, he was able to get anyone. But at an early age, he became fascinated with dead animals, would take them apart, keep the bones, arrange them in like little jewelry pieces and stuff.
By the time when he got that 17, his parents divorced, and he was the only one living at the house. He was lonely.
So the darkness in his mind probably, there wasn't a way for him to be pulled out of it. He just went deeper.
The divorce was like,
Yeah.
And they divorced basically from him too. None of them. His mom hated him. His dad left. The worst of his crimes and the most grotesque things were he was a cannibal. He ate their heads in his freezer after boiling them. He would paint the skulls. What are some other weird things he would do? When the police finally caught up to him and they searched his apartment after he murdered a child that escaped from him, and the police returned to him for some crazy reason. The police,
that's an Asian kid.
Yeah.
That's an Asian kid. He doesn't
Regardless.
even speak English fluent.
Yeah. He was 14. Jeffrey Dahmer would lure all these men there by being an attractive man, but being like, I'm a photographer, I will pay you $50 to let me take pictures of you. And then he would slip them sleeping pills in their drinks, and then they would pass out, and then he would strangle them to death. The craziest thing in my mind that he did, he would shower with the dead bodies. He would he would leave the dead body and a bunch of ice in his shower to keep it from decomposing. So he had to take a shower every day, and he would just stand there and shower in cold water with the dead body in the ice. And he lived in an apartment building. It's been since bulldozed, since they pulled out all. One of his neighbors did give them the tip because the boy that went missing was last seen at his apartment. So that was the tip, but like, police went to his apartment so many times for people he would get in fights with, back rent, stuff like that, and they could smell it, but they never did anything. So it just goes to show you like
that
this
just
weird
goes...
gay subculture of like, especially in the 70s and 80s, like, oh, they're gonna do weird shit, so let's just not.
Well, but also, like, that it goes into, like, it depends on what neighborhood he was in. Like, maybe if they were just like, oh, he's, like, in some poor neighborhood.
It was a poor neighborhood.
They're probably just like, I don't want to deal with it. But see, that just speaks on bigger issues. And
fucking police department.
Not just America, but everywhere. Like, it's just like...
So yeah, that concludes our true crime episode.
I need like a drink. I'm telling you, like, what?
We're gonna do part 2, as well.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to see part 2. Konnichiwa!